Hi, this is Roger Moore, and you're listening to James Bond Radio.
Mate, sad news today. How are you feeling?
It's one of these things where you know something's going to happen, but you just don't know when. And then when it does, and it hits you, and you're just like, oh man, it's just gutting, isn't it? It's so gutting.
Do you know what's really strange? Is yesterday I was in town and I was just, the missus was in a clothes shop trying loads of things on, and I'm sitting in the chair just waiting for it to all be over. And I'm scrolling through loads of old pictures I'd saved to my phone, and I came across the photo they posted. I think it was on Sean's last birthday, where I think Jason Connery and his wife were in the shot. And I literally just yesterday, I was looking at that photo and I was like, oh man, he looks so frail and so old, and the thought crossed my mind just yesterday, man, he's on his he's going to be on his way out soon kind of thing. And then today the news breaks, man. But it's one of those crazy things, isn't it? What an absolute legend that dude was, man. He's one of those who's like a true immortal, isn't he? You'd never think it's really going to happen until it does. And it's like a proper end of an era as well, man, because they genuinely don't make them like that anymore, do they?
No, he's tip-top sort of A-star Hollywood. You couldn't get any better than Connery. I think he's obviously part of the old school, but his sort of... He was basically the coolest man that's ever walked this planet. He literally was.
Oh, yeah.
And that never faded, because you can get people who in their prime everyone adores and thinks, they're the absolute don, they're a legend. But with time, that name fades or their star power just dwindles. Connery, no, he held that from as soon as he sort of started becoming sort of recognised all the way through until sort of today. And obviously his legend will continue as well. I mean, what a legacy, man! What a legacy that man has left.
Big time. And as well, what you have to think as well is that it's that age-old thing that we often say about the Mount Rushmore of Bond. You know what I mean? Where it's like, who are those core people you would put up there? You'd have Fleming up there, you'd have Cubby, amongst several others, and Sean would definitely be up there on that Mount Rushmore of Bond. And ultimately, we have him to thank for everything, don't we? Because if he didn't do such a bang-up job back there in 62, we probably wouldn't be watching Bond these days, Not that we're watching that much of it these days, but you know what I'm saying. But so it's one of those, damn it, man, it's that thing, especially as time passes and these things happen and more of them leave us, and it's happening more and more often these days, isn't it? It's just that whole thing of that whole generation is going to be gone soon. And it's just a really sad thing to reflect on, isn't it? Especially when you think of how much this whole series of films affects geeks like you and I and everybody listening to this. And it's like, there's the main man there, the one that started it all, and he's now left us. It's a real sad thing, man, isn't it?
Well, he's my Bond as well. Although I obviously grew up in the 80s, my dad, Scottish, absolutely adored Connery.
Yeah.
We had all the Bonds on VHS, but we used to watch Connery Bonds more than any other. And I mean, he's been one of my idols ever since I can remember. He out of everyone on this whole planet, in fact, I've idolized him so much. I even grew a moustache today.
I was going to
say, in celebration.
Man,
what do you think?
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful. When you just popped up on Zoom just now, I thought it really suits you, and B, it's more like, did you just literally grow that this morning when you heard the news?
Literally
just
this morning, because I thought obviously Connery, when he's Bond, he's clean shaven as Bond should be. Although obviously we've seen Pierce get the beard going, but I thought to myself, well, Connery, he loves a tash. Like post Bond, he rocked several types of tashes, and I thought, well, what one will I grow today? Yeah. And I thought to myself, well, I'll just go for the plain, the simple, keep it simple. But I know it'd be one that he'd be proud of. Yeah. So it's just my little
tribute to Sean.
Yeah, so exactly.
I thought what I would do is I would read some of the stuff on the BBC News website. I thought was quite interesting, because when the news first broke and I read it, it just said that he died. It hadn't said any kind of details, and it said that he died peacefully in his sleep in the Bahamas, having been unwell for some time, his son said. So I always say, man, if any of us could choose a way to go, it would be that, wouldn't it? Peacefully in your sleep. You go to bed one night, boom, there it is. You don't even know it's happening.
Preferably in the Bahamas as well, I suppose.
Preferably in the Bahamas as well. So that's a nice, if you've got to go, that's probably the nicest way you can possibly go, isn't it? Jason Connery said his father had many of his family who could be in the Bahamas around him when he died overnight in Nassau. Blah, blah, blah. We are all working at understanding this huge event as it only happened so recently, even though my dad has been unwell for some time. A sad day for all who knew and loved my dad, and a sad loss for all people around the world who enjoyed the wonderful gift he had as an actor. His publicist, Nancy Seltzer, said there will be a private ceremony followed by a memorial yet to be planned once the virus is ended. He leaves wife Micheline and sons Jason and Stefan. Daniel Craig, the current James Bond, said Sir Sean was one of the true greats of cinema. Sir Sean Connery will be remembered as Bond and as so much more. He defined an era and a style. The wit and charm he portrayed on screen could be measured in megawatts. He helped create the modern blockbuster. He will continue to influence actors and filmmakers alike for years to come. My thoughts are with his family and friends. In reference to Sir Sean's love of the game, he added, wherever he is, I hope there is a golf course. Isn't that beautiful?
That is
very
beautiful.
So obviously it's one of those things, isn't it? Because it's like there was rumours of him not being in particularly good health that came out. Sometimes that slips out of somebody's mouth and then it gets picked up by the press and then it's denied and all the rest of it. So I guess it's not a huge surprise. It was like with Roger, it seemed like it came out of the blue, didn't it, that day? Whereas with Sean, I feel like on some level we've all known this day was going to come sooner or later, and here it finally is. But what are you going to do? Are you what Sean Bond or not necessarily a Bond, but what Sean film are you going to watch as a little tribute to him?
It is going to be a Bond, definitely. I'm in two minds. I've got two. Well, actually, I've got three that I'm thinking of. But I'm thinking I might slip on a bit of Dr. No. You know, go back to the original, go back to where it started. Because like everyone says, with some people, it takes a film or two to get into the role and all this. Connery had it from the start, man. Yeah. He was an absolute, just nailed on throughout the whole of Dr. No, on point. Every delivery, his movement, his look, the charisma was there on the screen. He just owned it, absolutely owned it. And no one had really seen anything quite like it before. And yeah, for me, it's got to be Dr. No. So that is definitely one I'll be sticking on.
That's exactly what I was going to do as well, man. I think, like you say, that whole James Bond moment in the casino there has never been bettered. It's never been done like that. Right there tells you everything you need. If you didn't know what James Bond was and you watch that moment, that is Bond wrapped up into that 1 minute of screen time or whatever it is. And that delivery has never been bettered either. It's just so spot on. And just his whole demeanour, the way he's sitting there, perfect. Bang on the money.
He does an absolute beauty in Goldfinger as well when he's coming up to Jill Masterson. That's a great one. But you know what you're saying about Connery sort of influences other actors? If you think about those that followed, like obviously George, people were sort of, he almost tried to imitate him initially to try and get the role. So there was that influence. Sean and Roger were obviously great friends. Like even throughout the Octopussy Never Say Never Again moments, they'd sort of meet up and everything behind the scenes might have been at war with one another, but they obviously were great. Tim as well respected the sort of darker edge that Sean had. And Pierce, watched Goldfinger, didn't he? That was his first film or whatever when he came over to London, and look what happened with him and Craig as well. So hugely, hugely influential. I mean, imagine if it could have been any other person and not worked or not done as well. Because everyone that was making Dr. No at that time thought, oh, this is just a B movie. It won't be out for long, and then that'll be it. We might get a second Bond if we're lucky. A huge amount of that is down to Sean setting that stone, setting the standard, and creating that path for everything to follow.
Big time, man. Lightning in a bottle, 100%. The timing of everything, and that dude at the front of it is what we all need to be grateful for. That Bond is still around, alive and kicking in 2020. So for this coming Friday's episode, we're going to do a kind of like we did with Sir Roger. We want all of you listening at home to send in your 90-second favourite memory of Sean. So if you remember when Sir Roger passed on, we did that, and we had, I think, maybe 3.5 hours of 90-second voicemails that we played. We're going to do that this Friday instead of what we have planned with the dad 90-second reviews. So jump on jamesbondradio.com, click there's like a floating button on the right-hand side that says send voicemail. Click that. You can do it through your phone or your computer. And just send us your thoughts about Sir Sean or your favourite memory of Sir Sean, and we're going to play it on this Friday's episode. And we're going to get the Team JBR together and do a bit of a round table, a bit of a celebration of Sir Sean this Friday, and then we're going to finish up the episode with all of those voicemail messages from the JBR family. So make sure you get that in as soon as you possibly can. And we'll put that out this week, and we'll put our normal intended program back to next week.
Yeah, and I think that's the right thing to do, obviously, for so many reasons. But we'd love to hear from absolutely everyone. Anyone that's a Bond fan, whoever your favourite Bond is, or your favourite Bond film. Sean, what such influence, such charisma, such perfection really in what he did, and we really want to hear from everyone. Like, if we could get to sort of the levels that we had last time, that would be absolutely incredible. Big time. 90 seconds, just let it pour out, whatever your thoughts are. It would be amazing to hear from everyone. And like you said, when we have our JBR roundtable discussion, it's almost like I between the two of us at the moment, we could talk for hours on this, but we're having to rein it in a bit. This is why this is only a short little emergency podcast, because when we do the roundtable discussion with the other JBR gang, we can let it all out then, and we can really go into detail about how amazing that man was. I even went up to Edinburgh for New Year and dragged my poor missus around Edinburgh for like hours trying to find the Sean Connery plaque, and it was pissing it down in the rain, and we got there and she was like, is that all it is? but I was like, you don't understand. It means so much. And it'll be great to chat with everyone and get everyone's feelings and thoughts, and
big time.
And just pay our respects, because it's definitely we all have to sort of let it free, I think, don't we? Just
big time, 100%. So that'll be out this Friday. Make sure you send in your 90-second Sir Sean Connery memories.
Is there a deadline that people need to send them in by?
Yeah, like it's get it in by like midnight on Wednesday, because that's we'll usually have recorded by Wednesday, and then we've got the time to actually edit it afterwards on the Thursday. And then it's out Friday. So just try and get it in by the end of Wednesday. And we'll definitely include it on this Friday's episode. So anything you want to say about Sean Connery, any kind of words, your favourite memory, your favourite film, favourite whatever, just let us know, and we'll all have a good Sean Connery celebration this Friday, celebrating the great man and how he's affected all our lives over the years. God bless him. We salute you, Sir Sean.
We certainly do.
All right then, mate. Well, I shall see you later in the week when we reconvene with Team JBR with the other double O's to celebrate Sir Sean, and we'll hear from the JBR family as well. So press pause on your dad reviews for now. Let's go full Sean Connery for Friday. Send him out in style. All right. Definitely. So we'll see you on Friday, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.